Hello guys, I am back from another review. Today we talk about whether Deku was the ultimate hybrid. So, in the last video, well, we saw that Izuku has a brand new teacher being his house. So, apparently, he told everybody that they will be having a special class known as God Fighting class, where they're going to be fighting each other and learning how to fight and do self defense. So, Izuku wore his godly like costume where everybody is basically were picked in teams of three. In Izuku's case, Izuku picked his friend Kirishima and Toga, and their opponents were Bakugo, Todoroki, and Mina. So while they were fighting, Izuku defeated Todoroki, but she was about to fall down in like a hole, a sharp one in fact. So Izuku saved her as well. Todoroki actually got a crush on Izuku now because of that day. So yeah, so let's talk about what happens next. So Izuku came back to Half Blood High as everybody's basically well waiting in the classroom for their brand new activity, or as an activity they're going to be going to a place known as the USJ where they're going to be training a lot there. So their teacher, being Aizawa, says, "Alright, all of you get out. It's time for us to go to the USJ." So Izuku starts going there with his classmates. They go into a looking portal. So when they made it into the portal, basically get transported to the USJ, where the USJ is, the Roman Colosseum. So Izuku says, "Wait, we're in Rome." As he says, "Yes, Izuku." Wait for a second. Yes, Izuku. That's the USJ. It's a training joint. That's where several gods, goddesses, monsters, and other types of creatures basically train and become even greater. As Kirishima says, "Heck yeah, let's do this." So, while they're basically walking to there, Izuku senses something. As Izuku says to himself, "What's this feeling? It feels like it feels like anger, rage, and discrimination." But, and I mean but, wait for a second. Todoroki basically snaps Izuku back to the real world, as she says, "Hey Izuku, are you okay?" As Izuku says, "Oh, sorry Todoroki. I'm sorry about that, Todoroki. I was just thinking." So while they were talking, Toga is basically still angry. He's she's completely jealous of of Todoroki stealing Izuku, aka her man. She decides to do a plan that is foolproof. That's where she's going to pretend to be the damsel in distress, and that is where Izuku is going to be flying in and catching her, making him fall in love with her. So yeah, so while Izuku was basically just talking to Todoroki, they basically hear well a portal open as everybody sees the flag, a flag that depicts well a certain god. Wait for a second. And that god is Zeus. Zeus, the flag contained Zeus, and it has several swords stabbing through the Zeus's body. As they see in the bottom several robed men in white robes, as they say, "Kill the gods and monsters. They don't deserve to live. They're nothing more than beasts." these people start using magic, dark magic, in fact. So Izuku tells them, "Wait, that's the Eden Project group." As they say, "What?" So they start activating all of their magics. As one of them being a man with, well, a a dark pitch black mask with um yellow eyes, teleports them to certain areas in the USJ. Izuku was transferred to a to a training area for gods that specialize in water. So Izuku sees Froppy and, well, Izuku sees Toga as she says, "Oh, what happened?" As Izuku says, "The Eden Project. They should die." As Froppy says, "Hey, you should be careful, Izuku." And Izuku says, "I am calm." As she says, "Oh, okay." As Izuku says, "Anyway, hey, Froppy, you're the daughter of Jiraiya, you know that?" As she says, "Yeah, I know it." As Izuku says, "Maybe summon out your frogs." As she says, "Oh, right." So she starts summoning out tons and tons of frogs. As Izuku says, "Now make them shoot out fire." As she says, "Right." So the frogs start shooting out tons and tons of fire. And I'm not talking about Jiraiya from like Naruto, the Jiraiya from actual legend. And if some of you guys say in the comments it's Naruto, I'm going to literally ban you from my goddamn from my god channel. Anyway, wait for a sec. So after burning all the water, Izuku drops down with Froppy and, well, Toga. So they started going around as they see this gigantic meat or whatever it is. It looks like mango parts mixed together into like this Frankenstein's Frankenstein type monster. Izuku says, "Wait, I know this type of magic." As Toga says, "What? What type of magic is that?" Izuku says, "That's necromancer magic. But the only types of people that are allowed to use it are my aunt." No, 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 no. As Izuku basically starts charging in, as Izuku stabs into the heart of the, well, of the gigantic meat creature, as it was about to bash in the head of Bakugo. As Izuku says, "Bakugo, are you okay?" And she says, "Dude, look away, pervert." Izuku says, "What?" As Izuku sees, well, half of her, well, costume was, well, ripped. Izuku sees a part of her chest and down below. As Izuku says, "Oh, sorry." And she says, you dumb pervert." As Izuku says, "I'm not a pervert." As Izuku hears the creature getting ready to smash Izuku, but Izuku took a glance, as it was true. His aunt, Hecate, his aunt Hecate, killed in battle and turned into a fuel source for that creature. As Izuku says, "No!" As the creature basically growls as it starts charging in at Izuku. Izuku says, "Damn Eden Project, I will kill you." As his horns start protruding out of his head, as his ears start, well, growing a little bit, his face starts becoming more like a wolf. As two large fangs start appearing, like a saber-toothed tiger, his arms start growing to the point that it's not even like, well, proportional to his, well, legs. His legs are are like a little bit longer, but not as long as his arms. His body is a little bit larger. He's like really thin. And after the transformation, he doesn't look anything like he used to. He looks like a monster, but not in the traditional sense, like what they think is like a regular old monster to them. It looks like an actual monster to them, like something like something horrifying, like an abomination. As Izuku says, "You killed Ant. You killed Hecate." As Izuku's weapons start, well, shaking, as they start turning a little bit more darker, Izuku summons out his bow. As the bow starts summoning out plants that are, well, instead of being, well, pure green, instead it's like, well, it's like rotten plants. Some of the cultists, I'm just gonna be calling them cultists for now. So yeah, so the cultists start getting ripped apart by the plants. As Izuku summons out his vampire whip sword, as Izuku starts slicing the rest of them, as the leader of the group, being the one with a, well, with a scarred face. And yes, that is supposed to be Shigaraki. Instead of having a disintegration quirk, he has, well, a sand manipulation magic, or sand magic. He says, "How the hell did you actually beat that thing?" And how? As Izuku says, You killed my aunt." As Izuku says this, "You will die." As Shigaraki says, "Ah, I recognize you. You're the adopted son of, well, Hades and Persephone. Huh. I didn't know that you were half I didn't know that you're half fallen angel. And not only that, you're also a half vampire and a half wolf. Ah, another disgusting monster that I want to clean off of this earth. It's for our god." Izuku says, "What god?" As he says, "Our god." As he basically takes off his clothing, as everybody sees several eyes all across his body as they start blinking. His lower half, it looks like, well, a goat. It's almost like a satyr, but except his tail looks like a snake. His hands, they're inhuman, they're scaly. They have sharp claws. As he says, "It's for our god." For our god, known as Nyarlathotep, the god of despair and chaos. You will all die. He's the one true god, not all of you, who are mere figments of nothing more than pieces of shit. Nothing more than pieces of a puzzle, and I will put you in your right places as servants for our god." He starts charging in at Izuku as Izuku summons out his, well, sickle. As Izuku cuts off the, well, the lower half of Shigaraki, instantly killing him. As for the guy with the, well, pitch black mask and the yellow eyes, that was supposed to be Konagiri. Because quirks don't exist in this world, they use magic. And if you don't know who's Nyarlathotep, well, if you don't know who's H.P. Lovecraft, I feel sorry for you because H.P. Lovecraft is the greatest guy to make, like, he's really good at making like psychological horror like novels. But unfortunately he's dead, and also he's also completely racist. So yeah. So after Izuku done that, he starts screaming. His head starts aching as Izuku transforms back as he falls down to the ground. Bakugo starts, well, running at Izuku, basically saying, "Hey, nerd, are you okay?" Izuku, well, he passes out. Izuku wakes up as he's in the infirmary of the Half-Blood High School. Izuku sees Recovery Girl, which she is a nymph. And if you don't know what's a nymph, well, in Greek mythology, they're basically like fairies or gods, I believe. I can't remember. For a second. As she says, huh, that was pretty interesting of a surgery. Anyway, Mr. Young Midoriya, I meant Izuku. And Izuku says, oh, hey, Miss Recovery Girl. Oh, my chest. It feels painful. As Izuku looks in the left of him, Izuku sees, Bakugo touching his hand, while also asleep right next to the bed. As Izuku says, what did Bakugo do? As she says, well, she was completely crying about you, Mr. Izuku. And also, are you two dating or something? Because, she was completely sorry. Like, keep saying sorry about everything. And keeps saying, please don't die, please. As Izuku says, what? Izuku looks over and sees Bakugo again, with a brand new light. Izuku looks at her a little bit more, as Bakugo wakes up as she says, you nerd, you're alive. She basically hugs Izuku, as she says, whatever, I only hugged you because I was, worried about you or whatever. I'm only doing it because I'm a gracious god after all. As Izuku says, um, sure, I guess. So, Recovery Girl says, alright, I'll be leaving. And also, you have two more visitors that want to, talk to you. So, yeah. So, the door is opened as they see Toga and Todoroki. As Todoroki says, hey, Izuku, are you okay? And Izuku says, yeah. So, Todoroki, what happened in the battle? As she says, well, you turned into this mishmash of creatures while you're fighting well, that other mishmash of creatures. As Izuku says, and, and, as Izuku says, what happened to Ant? As Izuku says, I meant Todoroki's aunt. And Izuku says, my Aunt Hecate, a power source for that creature or whatever it's it. As she says, oh, yeah, apparently she's gone to the office because, she was too damaged. Apparently, she said that, she was captured by the cult. Apparently, she was, experimented and turned into some sort of vessel for some god, apparently. But some sort of eldritch god. As Zuka says eldritch, never heard of it. As they say, well, it's basically like a god of gods. Apparently, they're basically older than us, even older than the Titans. As Izuku says, really? As Todoroki says, yeah. I thought we were just fairy tales, but they're actually real. Izuku says, huh. Izuku looks at his hand a little bit. Izuku's hand is a little bit, hurt. Todoroki says, can I heal you with my ice magic? As Toga says, no, let me do it. And besides, I'm his oldest friend, so I should better do it instead of you two. As for Bako, she says, alright, I'll be leaving or whatever. Please don't hurt yourself, nerd. So she leaves as Todoroki and Toga start fighting again. Zuko decides to go to sleep again because, well, that was a pretty troubling day. So, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.